Hey, I wanted to make a real quick video in my garage because there was a point that I wanted to kind of cover. And it's kind of the reason why we bring all the junk that we bring on set. And it's a point that I learned a while back when we got the FX6. And the reason why I paused and thought about that is because it all came about at around a certain time. Because we know for a fact, you see people in the industry, you see people on YouTube and on Instagram that you follow that you know are successful in the industry, and you're wondering, how is it that they're able to do this on a high level and get paid good money while some of us are running around and doing it for smaller budgets? Now, I'm no longer at the budget that I once was. I mean, when I first started, I was doing like $200, $300, $400 gigs. We're way past that now, but we're not where we could be. So I started asking around. I started seeking, what's going on? What's the deal? We know we can produce that quality, right? So it's many factors. It's many, many factors. One of the factors is the show of filmmaking. And so case in point, this is why I'm in my garage. Okay. There's my 600D. There's my 300D. Yet I'm being lit. And sure, I could have done a better job. Please excuse, so side rant here. Please excuse my garage. We're going to be moving here in the next week. Or we're going to be packing in the next week and moving within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Because we got to be out by next month. And we're moving to a new spot. So, please excuse the mess. I have a 600D. I have a 300D. Why am I using... or what am I lighting myself with right now? This was my original lighting setup, okay? The Yongnuo, this is a Yongnuo panel. I don't want to trip over my weights here. Yongnuo YN600L, old school. I bought this one 6 or 7, I bought it in 2018. This is a newer umbrella. This is a basic newer umbrella. This is the YN 600. And I have filmed a lot of things with this light that makes it look so good because a light panel is already soft. It's not a single point light source, meaning you're not getting it off of one chip. You're getting it off of 600 chips. So when it emits that light, it's already soft. Then it's coming through this nice little piece of diffusion, the umbrella, and I know it looks super photographer style, but it worked, and it always worked for me. And it always kind of blew my mind that when I went from this to the COBs, the quality of light was different. And when I would make YouTube videos for, another channel that I have, this still does the job. And I'll often pull it out because all I got to do is use some NPF batteries. But all that being said, here's the other thing. When I go out and shoot, and I'll show you a picture or so of me setting up this light, I don't use this soft box. I have an octabox right here, 120 centimeters. You do the math. But this is the one that it's not the pop-up one. I got this one like years and years ago, and you got to actually insert the wires. Hence, that's why it's still in the bag, because it's a nuisance. But I've not bought another one. And why have I not bought another one? When we came to this whole understanding and idea that it's about the show of filmmaking. Please excuse my son's bed. Like I said, we're moving. This is what I use. This is a 4x4 silk. 2 stops of diffusion. It's an excellent piece of gear. You're going to use that with some light stands, some heavy duty light stands, some Matthew light stands, or some C stands. So, what am I trying to say here? Why all the gear? Why all the major setup? Why not do it in a more minimalist way? As I've said in other videos previous, the show of filmmaking is about letting the client know that they're getting what they paid for. Why use an FX6 when I could use an FX3? And we have that. We have A7S3, FX3, FX30. I personally have an FS7. Why not just use my FS7? Still does a great job, and it really does. It's because the FX6 is part of that. And for the people who don't know what it is about big cameras. They don't know, they're just the client. Their expertise is the business that they're doing. They're not focusing on cameras. They just know, you got a little camera, I paid the price of a big camera. They don't know the difference. They just know levels of production. They see you coming in with all of these modifiers, big lights, big cameras, big tripods, and all that good stuff. They think, wow, that's a big deal. They see the teleprompters and they're like, wow, big deal, big deal. They see the client monitors, and you've seen our card setups, and if not, here's a shot. When you see that big old setup, they are impressed. And in all actuality, we have had some talks with some clients who, when we were making a schedule with them, they made the schedule and they gave it to us, and there was no real time for setup. These are clients that we used to do the super fast run and gun minimalist setup, where it was like we were into using monopods. So it was just, it was a mirrorless camera, it was a monopod, and that was it. And then we would just and a lav mic and a recorder, and we would just go from spot to spot, shoot the shot, get the take, we're gone to the next one. Interview, on to the next one. B-roll, on to the next one. It was quick, it was fast, but we were charging a certain price. Fast forward to now, we are charging a lot more. But we explained to them when we asked about the timing and the scheduling, we said, hey, look, we can go back to the old way, but we will have to scale down the production. In other words, we're not going to bring the carts, we're not going to bring the big cameras, we're not going to bring the lights and the modifiers. We're going to go back to what we used to do. And if that's what you want, that's fine, let us know. But if you want this level of quality that you've been seeing lately and what we have lately, then we need more time. And we need to stretch it out more days. And I kind of talked about that in another vlog. If you need more time, you need more days, let them know, because you're worth it. And this is what it takes. This is your expertise right here. This is our expertise. So we know what it takes, and we know what we need to get it done. A case in point, a neg. We throw in a neg, some of that negative feel, and it changes the feel. It changes the contrast ratios. It gives it depth. And these are the little things that add up to being better than your competition when it comes to a certain level of production. So anyway, we reached that goal of making $10,000, getting $10,000 projects, and we're on to the next goal. And we want to even reach even higher. And there is way higher. There's absolutely way higher. And I remember I posted in one of my Facebook groups, and one guy actually hit me back because I asked out there. I know that there's, especially in the FX6 groups, FX3 groups, that there are people who are working on a high level. And so I put it out there, hey, for those of you who are working consistently $10,000 jobs and up, what are some of the things that took you to the next level? And one guy hit me up. I had some great responses. One guy hit me up though, and he was like, I can't believe, I think he was saying something like, I can't believe people keep running around here talking like that. There's no such thing as $10,000 jobs. So quit putting it out there. And I was kind of flabbergasted, because I'm like, really? You really think that? Like, I knew for a fact that wasn't true, and we proved it later. It's the mindset. And certain people have certain mindsets, and they're stuck in those mindsets, and they think that they can't get out. And so the point of, when you see in my vlogs, all the junk that we're doing, it's the show of filmmaking. It's showing them that we can do it on a high level, and we can give you results. I like to call it Hollywood, and where we're from, Bakersfield, California, I like to call it Hollywood in Bakersfield. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get you're going to have a Hollywood set on location wherever you're at, wherever you want us to be. And that is what you're paying for. And hence my other example from one of the other vlogs. And if you haven't seen it, I talk about how a buddy of mine that I got to meet and work with does this program, does pre-production properly, and plans, look, we're going to bring out this gear, and this is what it's going to take to do this shoot. And so in order for us to get these shots, and then move to the next location, set up properly, and get the next set of shots, and then move to the next location, set up properly, and get the next set of shots after that, all the while being comfortable. In other words, we're not breaking our neck to get to that other location and then, miss certain things in the process. He scheduled enough time for us to get there, set up. You didn't even have downtime to think, to talk with the clients. That's part of the game in jumping up levels. I've seen some guys do some amazing shoots with the minimal gear. They're not using easy rigs. They're not using gimbals. They're going handheld, and they've done some beautiful shots. But that is not nearly the norm, and those aren't the guys who are getting hired for the big shoots that cost a lot of money. And that's kind of where we're going. That's where we want to go as a production company. We're not just solo DPs, although we are trying to spread our net into that territory. We're not solo DPs. We are the production company here in our local area, and so we want to put out that calling card that we can work on a higher level. So I hope that helps you understand why we do what we do, and hopefully that can help give you some guidance as to if you need to make the next step, where you can go from there.